Dragon Quest III. This was it, the game that made Dragon Quest popular. Since its release in 1988, it has proven to be an iconic and highly regarded entry in the series, with the game's unique style and world practically defining Japanese fantasy and influencing countless other RPGs to come. When I first played DQIII, I was really impressed by how much of a personal journey it was. In this game, you play as a spiky-haired, cape-wearing teenager from the land of Aliahan, a great nation cut off from a larger world. Years before the events of the game, your father Ortega leaves you as a child, not to buy a pack of cigarettes, but to explore the world in an effort to defeat the archfiend Baramos, only to disappear, never to be heard from again. So the whole game is about following in his footsteps to succeed where he failed. Your journey begins by leaving town and venturing into the greater world, traveling far and wide to various villages and kingdoms, solving any problems that come your way. And along your journey, you meet various people Ortega helped, learning more about the kind of man he was. I really like Dragon Quest III's story. It isn't complicated, it's actually very simple and easy to digest. You're given one goal: defeat the archfiend and avenge your father. And to do this, you're tasked with hatching a giant chicken. Yeah, seriously. The story may not seem like much, but the game's narrative is more about carving out your own legend and the unique path you take to get to the end. So in essence, the player creates the story themselves, with the world you're thrown into serving as a backdrop for the events to come. And the world of DQIII is truly the star here. Dragon Quest III is a globe-trotting adventure, with the game world being modeled directly off our own world, featuring a host of different cultures being represented in the game's various regions, that all have their own unique customs and dialects. Along your journey, you meet lazy kings, racist elves, talking horses, and friendly pirates, to name a few. I especially like the town full of white Indians.
Listen to my tale of awful woe.
This game really plays with this whole idea. Every kingdom is represented by playful stereotypes. Like when you go to America, this is literally the first thing you run into. Yeah. Even Japan, where the game was made, has people walking around in kimonos and talking in haikus. No one was spared. Every town and kingdom is uniquely modeled, each with its own distinct architecture. It really gives each region of this world a sort of ancient lived-in history, telling a story that you can only experience by looking closely at background details, and you can visit each of these locations in any order you want. Dragon Quest III is one of the earliest examples of a true, non-linear open-world adventure game, allowing you to travel the world in any direction you want and tackle all the game's objectives in any order. And what I really love about Dragon Quest III's world is how cohesive and well designed it is. I always felt like I had a good idea of where I was going. Characters you encounter give you subtle hints of what to do and where to go next, and you can use the recall feature to remember any important dialogue you hear. The game relies on the player's investigative instinct and sense of discovery to figure things out, and when you do manage to solve a problem on your own, it feels incredibly rewarding. In order to reach Baramos, who is definitely the final boss, you need to collect the 6 legendary orbs that are scattered across the world, hidden in different places, and finding the orbs will often require figuring out a puzzle or just beating down a boss at the end of a dungeon. This world is host to all manner of mystery and forgotten ruins, from abandoned watchtowers to weathering caves, and they each feature a myriad of monsters to battle, which brings us to the core gameplay of Dragon Quest III. You see, this is a fantasy game where you can do things that you can't do in real life. My greatest dream has always been to fight a gorilla with my bare hands, and you can do that here. Just like the rest of the series, DQIII is a very standard turn-based RPG where you lead a band of adventurers across a harsh landscape, diving in dungeons and duking it out against squads of expressive and colorful foes. In this game, you face off against bandits, trolls, mummies, you name it. The game throws a huge variety of encounters at you, and you fight these foes with some help from your trusty party members that you create yourself. And this is the most unique aspect of DQIII. You see, most Dragon Quest games feature pre-made characters with their own backstory and personality, but here you customize everything about your team, their name, gender, and best of all, their class. Dragon Quest III's ambitious class system is remarkably deep and well designed. You can choose from a number of different classes that each have their own unique strengths and weaknesses. This includes warriors, thieves, mages, and more, and they each have their own unique stats, abilities, and equipment. Further adding to the complexity is the class-changing system, where you can eventually change a character's class at level 20, having their stats but keeping all of their abilities and spells, making for a hybrid class. Mastering the system is essential because the bosses and monsters you encounter get more and more challenging the further you get into the game. So it's all about finding that right balance to craft the ultimate team. And this makes for a game with potentially infinite replayability and so many different playstyles. And I should also mention that this system comes with one big downside, being that none of your party members have personalities or talk to you. They're all pretty much mute, which means you have to project personas onto them with your imagination, which requires too much thinking for me. And I'm disappointed that they never even tried to rectify this in one of the many remakes they've done over the years, which brings us to that topic. Dragon Quest III is an insanely ambitious RPG with an emphasis on freedom and every facet of its game design, from its exploration to its character building mechanics. They just got so much right the first time, and even now, decades later, they are still finding ways to enhance the experience. The game's legacy has endured over the years, with many remakes being made, and the latest version, Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake, is definitely the one you want to play. This remake builds off of everything that came before, refining nearly every facet of the gameplay from the menus to the combat, and not only that, the game also adds tons of new content to the overall experience, including new abilities, items, customization, and it even adds story elements that enhance the original game's narrative while also connecting the game to other Dragon Quest entries. This remake is a loving tribute to longtime fans of the series, fully realizing a lot of ideas that the original version couldn't. And sure, it isn't perfect. For one, I don't like how much easier it is compared to the original. I don't care if it's optional. Why are there flashing yellow markers on the map telling you exactly where to go? Who made this, Ubisoft? Also, the amount of free loot they littered across the game world pretty much destroys the entire in-game economy. And then you have some of the character designs that don't exactly adapt the original game's vision quite as well. You couldn't imagine my disappointment at this pathetic excuse for a swimsuit. But despite those few setbacks, this is still probably the best version of the game. The good far outweighs the bad. Regardless of which version you play, Dragon Quest III is a really special game. It brings players to a world full of mystery and adventure, where you carve out your own legend, and we haven't had another game quite like this since. I hope one day we see another Dragon Quest game with this level of freedom, but until then, DQ3 will still inspire players for many years to come. If you enjoyed this look at Dragon Quest III, you should definitely check out this video right here. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. I'll see you there.